Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad all of you have joined us here on the program this morning. Obviously, you can comment away on social media, YouTube or Facebook, and we don't take calls now, really, unless we're in the studio. Don't have an opportunity to do that unless you call one of us on our cell phone, and I don't know if that'll work real well or not. But anyway, we're glad that you joined us. Appreciate JR's and Sunshine Heating and Air for everything that they do and the long running of this program, one of the longest running shows that we've had in our arsenal, and one of the longest running shows in the state of Alabama. I mean, how about that? I mean, when you've been doing something for 20 something years, there ain't a lot of people that have done it 20 plus years like we have. We've been getting up on Saturday morning for 20 something years. We ain't missed many. I mean, let's be honest about it. We don't miss very many Saturdays. I have people come up to me still and go, "What do y'all do in the summer?" I'm like, "Get up in the morning and do the show." I mean, that's it. Oh, I knew y'all did that, but I'm like, "Well, what did you think? I have a clone?" I mean, I need to have somebody that just steps in the summer months. Like, no, we don't get a break, but that's fine. We love it. And so, Randy, good to see you here on a post 4th of July. Of course, the weekend continues. I'd be remiss. I got to say happy birthday to my wife. It's my wife's birthday today. So that's the real celebration around our house. The 4th is just the prelim to the real celebration today. So,
and those that know Kim, like I tell Brett, as often as I possibly can, that somehow if there's a way to outkick your coverage better than Brett Pritchard did, you're gonna have to show it to me.
I can tell you.
Oh, but Brett, hey, as you were talking on this Saturday, though, I'm thinking of the change in technology. I mean, look where you and I are. You're down in your lair downstairs in your house.
Actually, this is upstairs. This is my upstairs lair. I've got another one downstairs.
So Brett Pritchard has, back to how great his wife is, he has his own man cave downstairs, and now I guess he's got an upstairs man cave to go with it. Yeah. That's how good Kim is. But Brett, we can do the show wherever we want to do it now. Right. I think back to when we first started, we would have died to be able to go on location with some of the remotes that we were doing. If you think I think for a couple of seasons for Auburn football, we were out in Mama Goldberg's doing the show right there on the
2010 season, Randy, the year that we won the national championship.
And we would have loved to have been able to go live with the television show, but we were just kind of plugging in the same way that we did on Friday night with radio. And times have changed, and we have tried our best to change with them. So, it's really tough news coming out last night, Brett, and I guess we'll start there this morning.
Yeah, I mean, we have to – I know it's not sports related, but that lake behind you, so many people flock to this lake for the 4th. It's probably the biggest weekend. Memorial Day is pretty big. Labor Day is a big day, but nothing's bigger than 4th of July on Lake Martin. And, again, one of my good friends, and yours too, Randy, Dr. Wilmarth, they started shooting fireworks and having a fireworks show 15 years ago. I was just down there a couple of weeks ago and spending some time with him. He and I worked together for over 20 years at Central Alabama Community College and really got to know him. And he and I took students on numerous trips. So he and I have built a bond, know Darlene, Allison, Jonathan, all of them really, really well. And, that fireworks show garnered a lot of attention and just grew and grew over the years to what it is now. And 400, 500 boats flocked to Blue Creek to watch that fireworks show. And again, like you said, there's a lot of them all over the lake now. There's one in Minoy Creek. I know there's one, obviously the big one at Russell Lands, and then you got that one in Blue Creek. And they got them scattered. I think there's one in Parker Creek too, or whatever. But last night is your worst nightmare if you're putting one of these shows on. And I guess one of the mortars exploded early before it left the barge, and then when it did that, it set everything off, and the whole barge exploded. And there were 4 guys on there, and I know Jonathan and Aaron. He married Allison, that's Rick's daughter, were on that barge, and they all survived, but they were injured and airlifted out. So again, it was in the middle of the night and it was dark, and you just hear a lot of mixed reports. I haven't talked to him actually to get an update from him. Obviously there's a lot going on in their family because they got airlifted to multiple places. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them and everybody that went down there to help last night. Just a terrible accident. And the fortunate part though is that we're talking this morning there weren't any casualties. So that's the best news out of the whole deal. Yeah,
it really is. And that's one of those families, Brett, that no matter where you travel, somebody knows and loves them. You have certain families out there. You're like, oh, do you know the Will Marston? Are you kidding? Do I know them? I mean, they're like some of my favorite people. And the island down there, I can remember going, no telling how long ago. I mean, we're getting so old. Look at us on the camera here. It's been a long time ago, but just to go and check out what he has put together there is something to see. But they're great business people and very artistic family that I've always appreciated because I work around people like that. And when you see the level of IQ and talent that goes into that type of family, it's amazing to me. So I've always been intrigued by them. And, they've also been on our show quite a few times to talk wakeboarding and other passions that they have. And we probably need to go back down that path, Brett, with as big as that's gotten here on the lake. And so that was a couple of summers back to back where we really spotlighted that. So again, like you said, and I'll just reiterate it. Thoughts and prayers go out to that family. I know how much that community appreciates what they've done over the years, not just with this, but many other things that they do that make that Blue Creek area really intriguing, not only to the ones of us that live here, but all throughout the Southeast and throughout the country now, Brett. That's a side of the lake and a kind of an atmosphere and a culture on that side of the lake that I think a lot of people really, really love, and what they do is a big part of that. Yeah, it is.
Icon, just in where they live down there, having a house on an island, like literally an island. You cannot get to that house without getting on a boat or swimming. You have one or two, and it's funny. We'll kind of, I'll kid a little bit. I've been out there so many times, and we'll just be sitting out there. Somebody will ride up on a Sea-Doo and boat. And if you're one of these that have done this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but they'd literally come up and go, "How'd y'all get out there?" I'm like, "Really?" It's like they're, but and they mean well, but it's like, how did y'all do all this? But anyway, it is unique, and a lot of people just like to come down and ride around and see it, and he welcomes people to come in and look. I mean, he loves, nothing probably gives him more joy than showing that place off. So, but anyway, the reason we talk about that to start the show this morning is our thoughts and prayers are with that family and everybody that was there last night. I'm getting texts right now. You and I are getting texts right now. People that were there, that were watching the show, and just, it was horrific. When they, it kind of takes you by surprise when something like that, you're watching explosion. So when you see one that, that blows up like that, you go, was that intended to happen? Or, it takes a minute for it to sink in. Then all of a sudden you realize, man, that was not planned. And so, I mean, a lot of first responders there last night trying to help on scene and stuff. So I know that they're very much appreciated as well. So, but I say all that to say the weekend is really just starting. I mean, yesterday was Friday. You got Saturday and Sunday, and the boats were out yesterday. You got Saturday and Sunday, and the boats were out yesterday, and there's going to be more out today on Saturday. The weather seems to be really, really nice again. And so please be careful. And again, at night, there's a lot more boat traffic at night, Randy. And, you know, I've been on this lake my whole life. You know that. I can drive that lake at night almost blindfolded. But there's a lot of people that get out there and they go, oh, we're on the lake. We can just go wherever and all. And you kind of get blinded by the shoreline lights sometimes. Yeah. You kind of get your depth perception off. It's a different animal at night when you're riding around out there, I can tell you that. So just be careful if you're out there navigating at night. Just go slow. Don't be in a hurry. I can't say enough things about safety on that lake.
Well, and I'll take this chance to thank one organization on the lake that, you know, right here on my lot, I've got 2 lighted buoys out at the point.
Right.
LMRA. They're the ones that put those buoys out around the lake, make sure they're lit, because there's no telling how many issues I'd have, you know, right out in front of me if it wasn't for those buoys, Brett. Right. So Lake Martin Resource Association, there's people like that all over this lake that do things that they don't get recognized for near as much as we should. So a good opportunity to thank them.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break here on the show. We're just getting started on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, get your comments in. If you got a question or anything about last night, or you got a comment that you know some more information you'd like to share with everybody this morning, please do so. I mean, that forum is open there on YouTube and Facebook. We'll say a real quick shout out. Thanks to everybody that have subscribed to our channel. We're over 10,000 now. And YouTube sent me a little notification yesterday going, you know, you've hit a milestone. It is a milestone. And we appreciate all of you out there that have found us and continue to spread our content. So we really, really appreciate it. Much thanks goes out to all of you. All right, up against the break. Stay tuned. A lot more to come. Just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
The Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Just now getting rolling here this morning on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Got some comments coming in. I'm just giving an explanation. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. All I'm saying is that this is the first time you've even had multiple guys being discussed on an Auburn football team as being a potential first-round draft pick. And what the guy that I saw was talking about is that in comparison with teams that have had 4 first-round draft picks on a team, that's what they've accomplished. Now, again, they got to play a season. They got to produce. But, you know, we've seen multiple prognostications where they've got at least those first three we've talked about over and over, Xavier Chaplin, Eric Singleton, and Keldrick Falk, being projected to go in the first round. Now, again, you can say what you want to about Connor Lew, and I think Connor Lew has a really, really good season this year. He could be up there as well. So, but we haven't been talking about first-round draft picks with Auburn in God knows when. You know, we ain't had one and it's been 5 years since we had one. So now you're talking about multiple. My point in saying all that is this is the best roster we've had in a long time.
I think it's the best roster if the quarterback play meets Auburn's expectations. Let's just put it that way. Not meets Jackson Arnold's expectations coming out of high school. I'm talking about meets what the coaches think they have in that room's expectations. Because I can't imagine that last year the expectations of the coaching staff was met or exceeded ever, because they weren't. I mean, it was mediocre at best. At times it was serviceable over the last couple of years, but that's not going to win it. Not when you're consistently putting talent out there on the field that doesn't match the talent of the top end teams that you play. And Auburn's still not in a situation where they're going to go play Alabama or Georgia and we're going to be more talented than them. Are we closer? Yes, much closer. And who deserves the credit for that? This coaching staff. So there's not much more I can keep adding to that outside of I'm going to watch the first couple of weeks and see if Jackson Arnold's a different player than I saw last year. If he is, then I'm going to be all in. But I see him be a much different player than he was last year.
But that's fair. I mean, I think all of us are in that boat. I mean, we don't know. Nobody, you know, the coaching staff hopes that that's going to be the case, but you can't, again, and I said this, I think earlier in the week or maybe into last week, the season can't get here fast enough for this Auburn team because they have to prove some things. And, you know, everybody has things to prove, but nobody has more to prove than this Auburn team this year. Again, back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes for Hugh Freeze. You said this numerous times, you know, for the knocks he has gotten on the field as a coach, can't knock what he's done on the recruiting trail. And he's been able to go out and, you know, last year was one of the best years we've seen in any of our lifetimes. Randy, you and I recruiting in the state of Alabama and went out and, you know, that's the thing that's head scratching for people this year. I know Auburn didn't have a good season last year, but Auburn didn't get blown out in any game. And we all know the quarterback really, that situation really was the main issue for why Auburn didn't pull out, at least 2 or 3 more of those games. So you're not really that far off, you don't feel like. And then now you look at recruiting, it's a complete 180 from where you've been the last 2 years, and people are just going, why is it that way? Why is Auburn 89th in the country in recruiting right now? And why are they missing out on so many of these guys right now? Well, we had that explanation from the Auburn administration and Hugh Freeze this week at Auburn Ambush. And
let me jump in there real quick before you get going. How was the event, Brett? How many consecutive years have we had one on Lake Martin? And just talk about the Lake Martin Auburn Club and what it's all about. And for those that are just tuning in that are maybe new to this area, new to the lake, how can they get involved? So before you get into something that we're going to talk multiple segments about, let's hit on that just a second, because I know how involved you are. Right.
Well, just a very good event again. And Ambush is put on by the Auburn Alumni Association, and they pick 3 spots every year, and they want to come back to Lake Martin every year. And that's an honor for us that are part of the Lake Martin Auburn Club board. And, I'll just tip my hat to Neil Butler. He's the president, and he does a really, really, really good job, of handling all of this. It takes a lot of time and planning to pull this event off. And, we sell that event out pretty quickly, and it's at Willow Point every year. And, it's one of those situations where there's a lot of people that want tickets that can't get tickets. And so Auburn loves to come back there. And, of course, it's right down the road from Auburn. So it's a great venue, and there's so many Auburn people around this area when you connect Montgomery and, some of the other surrounding areas. But, yeah, it's a great event. We've had Bruce Pearl and Hugh Freeze the last 2 years. Didn't have Bruce this year. Bruce not making any of the appearances this year. Stevens making the trip around this year. Also had Coach Thompson there and Coach Vickers, the new women's basketball coach. But, it's just well put on. And, the Lake Martin Auburn Club has been having a summer event every year. We used to just go out on our own and try to ask a coach to come. And but the university has really gotten involved with the Ambush stuff. And so they've helped out tremendously. And, they help advertise the event. And so, yeah, it's just really, really a great event. There were probably 400 plus people there. We were at capacity, and we are every year. So good to hear from the coaches and the administration. Not many places get all of those guys to come to their event, and we do it every year. So, I'm not saying that we're the best organization, the best Auburn club, because there's a lot of good Auburn clubs. The one in New York, the one in Atlanta, the one in Houston, Texas, and Dallas. I mean, got them all over the country, but I don't know that you could find one much better than the one we have here at Lake Martin.
Well, you mentioned Neil, and there's quite a few others that deserve Larkin, and many others that have Tommy. I can keep going down the list of people that have really put their heart and soul into this event, Brett. But, as you're talking, one of the great things we've got here on this lake behind me is a lot of retirees that are very, very knowledgeable people that have been highly successful, and they may be retired, but they want to give back to something. And you and I get asked to be on umpteen boards every year, and I'll commit to maybe 1 or 2 from time to time, but more times than not, I'm saying, look, y'all, I'm in the middle of this. I'm as busy as a human possibly can be right now. You'd be better served by getting somebody that actually has some time to put into something like this and actually has a passion about it. So I know this is one of the many that you're on, Brett. But if it wasn't for people like that, I don't know that it would come off as well as it does.
Well, and the good thing is we all have a role, again, like you, I don't get a chance to attend as many meetings as I'd like. You don't meet a lot. Really, the board, I hear people all the time ask, like you say, how can I get involved? What can I do? There's really not a lot to do other than you can donate money that goes to the scholarship fund that, and we had a couple of students there receiving scholarships the other night. And, that money goes to that scholarship fund to help students go to Auburn. But really the board meets in planning for this event because it is our biggest event. And we do some smaller things throughout the year, like trash cleanup on the lake and stuff like that. And, we kind of team up with the Bama Club, the Bama Lake Martin Club, with a Lake Martin cleanup in the fall, or actually in the spring, early spring. But yeah, there's a lot of people involved, and we all have different roles. But at Neil's seat, and when Larkin was there, it's a lot of responsibility, man, a lot of logistics to have to get everything to go over right, and especially when you're selling sponsorships and making sure you have people on schedule and time and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a fun group to be part of, and all you got to do is go to the website, the Lake Martin Auburn Club website right there. There's no fee to join. You can become part of the Lake Martin Auburn Club by simply giving money to the scholarship fund. So that's how you can help out there. Let me get the break for TV. We'll come back and we'll keep this going and take some comments that are coming in. Stay tuned, everybody. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Banner Building Summer Sale is happening right now. No money down, no payments for 90 days, plus 12 months with zero interest now through August 31st on all portable wood and aluminum sheds, carports, garages, and barns built on site or delivered during the summer sales event happening right now at Banner Buildings, 4011 Warm Springs Road in Columbus, or online at bannerbuildingsga.com. Better buildings, better prices, Banner Buildings of Columbus.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best-kept secret, an affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552, 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Better late than never. Luke Robinson arrives right on time, 30 minutes into the show, and we're glad to have him. Thought he was on the 18th green at Sawgrass there for a minute when he came in. It's like he's whispering into the microphone. So,
well, when you're at the beach, you try to sleep in best you can.
You do. There's no doubt about it. And take a break when you can. But yeah, all right. So getting back to what we were talking about here on the program, yeah, the ambush event was really good at Willow Point. Again, it's really, from a standpoint of selling that out, it's not a problem every year. It's probably the best event that Auburn does every year, the most attended event. We could probably sell 400 more tickets if we had the capacity. So, but it was a good event. Just kind of going through, and on the podcast this week, I talked about some of the comments that, we were in the media room with John Cohen and the coaches, and just kind of hearing the approach of what they're doing with the settlement, how they're looking at this thing. I mean, again, from a Auburn fan standpoint, yeah, you're looking at it going, man, I don't know what's going on, because the last 2 years Auburn's had top 10 recruiting classes, and the coaches didn't wake up and forget how to recruit. And, they've had a lot of really good official visits over the last couple of months. And, Auburn's made the top 5 for a lot of these top ranked recruits, and they're just not picking Auburn. And, I'll go back to one of Sedarian's quotes on 24/7 after the Auburn official visit. He said, when we went to sit down to talk about NIL, he said Auburn really couldn't tell me anything, and said that, we would be able to tell you more later on. And he said, we'll look at that and maybe entertain that sometime down the road in December. Again, Sedarian committed, and we'll talk about that, obviously, because Sedarian, right here from Alex City, committed to Alabama, and was a big get for Alabama. And I'll let Luke talk about that. But, really that's coming out of a recruit's mouth. So that's not speculation. That's not somebody saying, oh, well, maybe Auburn. But that's what Auburn's telling these guys. And if that's burning Auburn, well, I hope they have a plan in place for when they decide to start talking about numbers to get it laid out. So name the thing any of us can do or say. That's what they get paid to do, is to make those decisions how they want to handle it.
I think Auburn is – honestly, I don't know what they're doing. I think they have made some very grave mistakes. It feels like, to me, they have misjudged exactly what the new recruiting landscape is. And then Hugh Freeze saying, essentially, not verbatim, hey, we're trying to do things the right way is, the irony there. I said it on the podcast. Having Hugh Freeze tell me I'm not acting ethically enough is like P. Diddy saying I have too much baby oil. I'm just not going to hear it. You're going to have to find somebody else to tell me I'm not doing it right. And especially when everybody else is doing it this way, whatever way it is they're accusing everybody of doing it. I don't like the landscape. I don't mind saying that. I don't like it that an offensive lineman chooses Texas Tech and then his agent comes out immediately and says he's going to make $5.1 million, and then they have to Texas Tech basically has to say, no, it's really more like $750,000 a year with the opportunity to get to $5 million. In my mind, I'm going, I don't care. That's not what I want college football to be, but it is what it is. Now, I can lament that fact. I also didn't want there to be an expansion of the playoffs, and I still don't like it, but it is what it is. So I've got to roll with it, and maybe Cohen and Hugh Freeze don't like this new landscape very much. I don't blame them. I'm on their side there. I'm not on their side when they say things, we're trying to do this the right way, as if the rest of the world is doing it wrong and only Auburn understands it. That was so it just was ill-advised statement to me. And I think that it's almost an excuse. Again, to your point, Brett, Auburn was in some top fives. So what were they doing to get in the top fives? They weren't telling them that part. They were leaving out the part that most everybody is the most interested in now.
I'll say this, and again, I don't know because I'm not in the room, nor you, with Alabama's coaches or whoever's discussing the NIL for them, or Dan Lanning at Oregon, whatever. I'm with you on the fact that, there's safety in numbers, the herd security. Like if you're part of the herd, I would rather be part of the herd and go, oh, we just all thought it was this way, instead of trying to be out on an island saying, we're going to take the stand over here and we're going to gamble that we're doing things right and everybody else is going to get their hand slapped down the line. I'm with you on that. I'm personally saying that. The problem is nobody knows. You just basically said when that came out about Texas Tech, then they had to retract, and all you see is people backpedaling on everything. And I think, and what Auburn said, and I'm with you, it came off probably going, oh, we're doing it right and everybody else is doing it wrong. And I don't think that was a good look. I'll personally admit that. But I do think they're sitting back going, because I don't think they forgot how to recruit, Luke. I mean, they had 2 top 10 classes back to back. And again, you hear about how many players enjoyed their visits, but it came down to, what can you do for me? Like you said, the most important part of this, and Auburn's telling these guys, well, we can't tell you anything right now. So they go, well, if you can't tell me anything right now, I can't commit to you. I don't know how they're approaching it and why they're approaching it that way. I don't.
Randy's shaking his head. I'll give him an opportunity here, but I look at it like, okay, if Auburn's not telling them anything, I wonder if anybody's asked Hezekiah Harris. You know, he's a top 10 guy in the state of Alabama. I mean, his rankings dropped.
Well, I was just there 2 weeks
in the last year, but I'm saying, I wonder what Auburn told these guys last summer when Hezekiah Harris, when a couple of the linebackers, Tootle and Garrett, they both committed, and everybody was having, just double backflips because Auburn's got the number 1 class a year in advance, or 2 years in advance of the 26th class. I wonder what they were telling them then. And did they, they had to tell them they were going to give them something. Everybody was giving somebody something then.
You got to remember, Luke, none of this had come down yet. No, there was
no. Yeah, but you could pay. It was worse in a way.
Well, yeah,
it was worse.
Basically, it was loosey goosey, and it was kind of like, I think Auburn, from what they're saying, is they were they're concerned. And again, it's not saying that everybody else isn't concerned either. I just think Auburn's going, and because they've heard, and what Cohen told all of us in the media room is that we're hearing how severe these penalties are going to be if you abuse the salary cap. So it's on him, man. Like, he's the one that gets paid to make these decisions, and it filters down. And again, like we said, walking out of the room, there were several of us, just got to hope that he's making the right decision on this. And I told Wade and Faith on the podcast Friday, look, why does everybody say, and I know, Russ, we're going a little bit long here. We'll catch up. Why is everybody saying, well, this is how I interpret it? Well, first of all, that's a problem in itself when we're all having to go, well, this is how I interpret it. Well, this is how they interpret it. Can't we just get a damn ruling that says, no, this is how it is? Because here's where the ambiguity is coming in. They're saying Cohen is interpreting that if the school gives you $400,000, Luke, and an outside entity gives you $400,000, that counts towards your salary cap.
Okay.
And then I read a contradictory statement that said that's not right.
I get that. I get that's how he's interpreting it. And I also get what you're saying about herd mentality. But herd mentality, to me, usually it involves a smaller group with a smaller herd and maybe one person standing up for what's right. In this case, you've got, 135 teams. They're doing it 130.
That's what I'm saying, Luke. I would side with y'all. I would rather be in the group saying I'm going to give offers rather than being the island by myself out here.
I hear you. But it's like there's 134 teams doing it one way, and Auburn's not even on an island. They're on a buoy in the middle of the Pacific that nobody knows where it is. That's what it feels like.
And let me get the break and we keep this going, because I got another thought on that too that I think is very valid. So, all right, up against the break here on the show. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We are located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. For any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands, from drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes left on the show today. Randy, I'll defer back to you on this discussion here. I'll say one thing real quick. I just don't have any confidence in any governing body to do the right thing or to police anything. And look, the three of us all can agree it's better to ask forgiveness than permission, right? A lot of times, especially when you got mass numbers with you.
Yes.
When you step out on a limb by yourself, you kind of isolate yourself. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think you said it perfect, bullseye, that nobody truly understands the way that this thing's going to play out. I didn't 5 years ago when we were sitting at BRHS Quarterback Club meeting with an Alabama collective organizer, and I'll leave it at that was playing the gray area as well as anybody and explained it. I don't know if Luke was with us that night, but he explained it to me better than I've had it explained to me. And I got in my mind finally what this collective thing was actually going to be was nothing more than to funnel money to the players under an umbrella that's not, umbrellaed underneath the football program. Right. Is nothing more than to promise a player whatever they needed to get them there. With the NIL being the reason that they're able to do that. In today's world, they have no teeth. So I'm with Luke. I'm 110% with Luke on this. That Auburn out here on the limb, unwilling to play the ugly game that is recruiting now and the ugly game that is the $20.5 million salary cap and how you're going to play that number and whether certain givings to kids are sheltered under that number or others are considered NIL. I don't understand. I've never understood it. I still don't understand the collective and how all of that works out. So I don't think you can be one that can sit out there on the limb and not get completely run by. And
you are getting run by right now.
We are, and I'm going to go in a different philosophy, and I want to get Luke's thoughts on it maybe on the next segment. But we'll finish up the talk here, and I feel that it's more of an excuse than anything else at this point. And and I hate to see that we go out and get 8 of the top 11 recruits in the state of Alabama last year, and then this year we've got one in our hometown and all over the state. Alabama's racking them up, buddy. And you can't tell me – I can understand Alabama getting 3 of 5 or 4 of 5, Luke, but Alabama getting 100% of them, that tells me Auburn's not making like offers. And if Auburn's not making like offers, Brett, when we're in a position where we've had 4 straight years of losing seasons, you're not going to win any of these battles. It's impossible.
It's crazy.
No, I mean, it's impossible to win the battle here.
Right.
I see Brett has put up Travis Betsby's, I think that's how you say it, point about what would be the point of implementing a salary cap if you could just add any amount of NIL on top of it. First of all, that's a great point. I understand. Now, for my understanding of this, which is limited, is that any NIL deal that is worth more than $600. Now, is it $600 for the year, $600 a week, $600 a month? I don't know. But the number is $600. Has to go through some type of clearinghouse. They already have this NIL Go thing set up where I believe some of these deals have already been put through the clearinghouse. And again, my understanding is some of them have already been rejected. But now I don't know whose deal was rejected when. That's another thing we don't know. But I come back to this, that Stanford is doing it this way. Stanford's recruiting better than Auburn right now. I just looked at it. They've got a higher ranking. Oregon State does. All these other teams. And you're telling me, and they have even more commits than Auburn. Huh?
Toledo does. I can save you time from scrolling.
I will say this. I'll give Auburn this. I had a fun tweet that I was going to tweet out yesterday for the 4th of July and say, in celebration of 4th of July, Auburn decided to be 4th in the state in recruiting. But shoot, they're only 3rd. UAB is much worse than Auburn. They're ranked 107 in the country. They've only got 3 commitments, and I think all three of them are for other sports. They just put them into football just so they didn't look embarrassed. But anyway, Auburn's got money and resources and lawyers that have graduated from there. My question is, if what Cohen and what Freeze are saying is true, and by the way, it wasn't lost on me, and it could all be coincidental because everybody says Bruce Pearl was on vacation. That Bruce Pearl didn't even show up to this event because I'm sort of like Bruce, probably like, I'm so mad right now at this administration that I can't even show up at this event and put on a smile that I have naturally. He's probably so upset because that's the one person. It's sort of like this. If I were Cohen, the one thing I'd do, I'd go to Bruce Pearl. I wouldn't go to Hugh Freeze. I don't think Hugh Freeze still just doesn't. Something ain't right with that man sometimes, it seems like. But Bruce Pearl, things are right with him. I'd go to him, and just like I would have gone if I were Greg Byrne, and if I had a question, I would have no qualms going to Nick Saban to say, what would you do? Because you seem to always do it pretty right. I'd go to Bruce Pearl and say, hey, Bruce, do you interpret this like we can't really tell him a number? Like it's so vague and we're so scared? Or do you interpret this like, let's let the rough end drag and see how this thing plays out? I bet you I know which way Bruce Pearl would say.
I'm going to say this, and we'll go to break, and then we'll keep it going. When you start, and Cohen said, wait till August 1st, to all of us in the Auburn media in that room, he said, and then, of course, we're a long way from December. He said both of those things. You can go back and watch the video. We've got it up on our YouTube channel. When you say that, okay, all right, so what's going to happen when August 1st rolls around? You've set yourself a deadline, and everybody's going to be watching that date now. Are you expecting a lot of guys to all of a sudden start flooding in? Or, what? Again, you put yourself in this position. And I don't know. Again, I would much rather – I'm telling you as an Auburn guy, I would much rather be on your side right now where we're getting commitments from these guys. Like, I'll be honest with you, Tank Jones shocked me. We didn't make the top 3. Tank Jones is taking visit after visit after visit after visit to Auburn. There were several crystal balls to Auburn, even when Alabama really picked up their recruiting on him. He was still crystal balled on 24/7 to go to Auburn. He came out and just loved Auburn. And
Brett, let me jump in real quick because I want you to add something to those that don't watch us too often. We got to remember we've got a lot of new subscribers, rolling over 10,000. You have met with all of these kids in the last month. You have been. Most of the questions that are coming up, you with the AHSA have been around and interviewed these kids. So I just want to throw that in there. Tank Jones being one of them.
Yeah, he was. And I'm going to take a break for TV. When we come back, we'll keep it going. But, yeah, I have. And so I've got some thoughts on that, too. All right, everybody, stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Here comes more big rigs, loaded with new GMC trucks and SUVs to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Choose from a huge selection of full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,000 off, and enjoy no payments until September. Plug into the future with the exciting new GMC Sierra EV, now with a 36-month lease for just $799 a month. That's right, just $799 a month. Glenn Smith GMC, now celebrating 33 years. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Illinois Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. One segment left here in the first hour. Again, we got some comments coming in. Let's get one more comment up here. Ed said every NIL that is not approved, no matter what the number is, through the clearinghouse, that player will sue them to the point where they are out of business. I mean, it goes back to the court system. All of this, like what I said just a minute ago, when we all just accepted these dang penalties from the NCAA that killed our schools for several years, all they ever had to do is go to the court system and say, well, you can't do that to us. Where's your authority to tell us we can't because some stupid rule in a book. So, yeah, I agree with Ed on that.
Well, I don't think he said the only thing I disagree with him is he said that player will sue them. If they were going to sue them, I think some of them probably already would have, because as we mentioned, that some of these NIL deals have already been negated. So I'm guessing it will take somebody to do it. All
it takes is one.
I know. Well, I go back to what you said about why did Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky in basketball, Oklahoma, all these schools probably could have made a lot of this happen sooner. But at the time, everybody was still holding on to this idea of amateurism and, hey, we don't really want football to be that. I don't think the world was ready for what it is now. Now things are different. And, remember when the skier for Colorado, I think it was a skier. He also had a YouTube channel or something. He was making tons of money on the side. And the NCAA said, you're not an amateur anymore. And he was like, wait a minute. I'm not even talking about what I'm doing at Colorado. I'm doing something totally different. How can you tell me I can't make money doing that? That sort of helped this a lot, just like Ed O'Bannon did with the basketball game. And by the way, they're coming out with a new basketball game, which is great. But I'm saying, like, it takes somebody to truly, back when Alabama got hammered, I can tell you this, everybody in the world was just rejoicing. I mean, it was like, everybody was just, oh, this is so great. This is so awesome. And I was thinking, okay, number one, it sucks for me as a fan, but I was like, number two, a lot of this kind of sucks because this isn't right what they're doing. And they don't know, they don't also know they're eventually going to hurt themselves. They're going to hit the wrong team at the wrong time and realize, oh, this was dumb on our part for money. Because if look at what the SMU, they didn't realize it when they gave SMU the death penalty, and it basically killed the whole conference. And at the time, everybody's like, well, we'll work through that. That's no big deal. You do it to the SEC, and I think everybody realized a big loss of revenue, and everybody go, wait a minute, we didn't want this to happen. I mean, so
I've always thought that, Luke. I've always thought it was a conflict of interest for the NCAA to administer penalties on schools that bring them revenue. I mean, how hard are you going to hit Notre Dame and Ohio State when they're pulling money in for your organization?
Right.
Are you going to go in there and tell them they got the death penalty? You're going to eliminate their program? That's just, to me, it's all been backwards to begin with.
But, look, meanwhile, the other thing that makes Cohen and Freeze look even worse in all this to me is the flurry and litany of commitments that have happened in the last 2 weeks, not just for Alabama, not just for LSU, for Florida, for Georgia, for Texas, that nationally, I mean, these last 2 weeks, and I'm thankful for it, doing a podcast and doing this show, that we got a lot to talk about. Normally this time of year, we're debating, let's go back in the time machine and remember X game that we enjoyed. And that's fun to talk about, but we do it every year because we had to. We're looking for content. Now, I mean, these last 2 weeks have been absolutely incredible. I mean, some of the best players in the country have been committing, really all over the place. Ohio State, Texas. I mean, just yesterday in particular was fantastic. Iheanacho went to Oregon. Booby Feaster sort of surprisingly went to USC. Fogel, the tight end, went to Georgia. Of course, Bama's gotten, several dudes here. LSU got an offensive lineman from Mississippi yesterday that was not so much a surprise, but there was some guesswork there. Tennessee's gotten some folks. I mean, the rankings have been like fluctuating the last several days, and it has been just an absolute madhouse. If you love recruiting like I do, these last 2 weeks have been absolutely awesome.
Well, it's been big for Alabama, and I want to stick there. How much time do we have, Brett?
We got to go to a break here in about a minute and a half.
All right. Well, real quick, Luke, just run down the recent commitments for Alabama, and then when we come back, we'll talk about each one of those, and then maybe look back at the top 10 or 15 here in the state of Alabama and where they're ending up this year.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks in a row of commitments for Alabama daily. Like the only day that Alabama didn't get a commitment was July 3rd in these last 2 weeks. So they've gotten commitments from J.J. Finch out of Indianapolis, who's a defensive lineman, Real Kelly, who flipped from Rutgers. He's out of Winton Woods. Alabama got a kid named Justin Hill out of there last year. They got a commitment from Brian Williams, a wide receiver out of Orlando. Zay Hall from Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, Javari Barnett, who they flipped from Illinois out of Tampa, Owen Cabell, a wide receiver out of Tennessee, Nolan Wilson committed yesterday, Xavier Crowell committed from Jackson, and sort of a big deal. Sedarian Morgan, Xavier Griffin both committed recently. So yeah, Alabama was, by most accounts, somewhere from the 20s to the 50s in recruiting, and now they're top 6. And they're going to get another commitment today. And Jordan Edmonds, who's a 5-star, Alabama could move into the top 3, top 2 even, depending on what else happens. But as I said, there's so many other commitments happening that if you try and do the class calculator to figure out where your team's going to be, you still might be wrong because somebody else may be committing to a team ahead of you anyway. So, but it's been a hell of a run for Alabama. There's no doubt.
All right, let's go to the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. 1 hour left here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings. Come on, get on board. Corey's Furniture saves you more. We try harder in every way, so drive a little and save today. Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Hour number 2 here coming up for everybody. Get your comments in. We've got a lot of those coming through. We'll keep going through those. But yeah, Randy, I think that's just, we were just talking about it off the TV side. I think, right now it doesn't look good for Auburn. You can't spin it any other way than that. But the transfer portal does change things. I'll definitely say that. It definitely does in basketball for sure.
Well, it does, and I'll hit on that, but I do want to give Luke a chance to close out on the comments on the recent recruits, and then I want to go into philosophy and Lane Kiffin and what he's done over the last couple of years at Ole Miss in comparison to what Auburn has seemed to be trying to do in the high school ranks. But Luke, Alabama recruiting the state of Alabama a lot better than they did last year, and it feels like even some marginal players in the state of Alabama, like the Hillcrest kid, Alabama's willing to go and get them. Can you talk about that? Because a few weeks back, we were throwing darts at each other that Auburn felt like they were making moves here in the state much better than Alabama was. Well, it didn't take DeBoer and staff too long to get back in the thick of things here in the state.
Yeah, I think, you go back to last year, I think it's a few things there. Number one, Alabama still ended up with the third best class in the country. So, it didn't bother me about the in-state. There were some guys that Alabama wasn't as in love with as maybe the national folks were, the guys that do the ranking. Okay, I can buy that. But I was looking to this year because I was like, look, if you don't love Sedarian Morgan, you don't love Tank Jones, if you don't love some of those dudes, I have to begin questioning your own evaluations. Well, they did love them. And, I feel like they've got a great shot at Tank. They've already gotten Sedarian, who is, just an absolute stud to me. You guys know, I think he's just, somebody was like, well, he could work on his route running. I said, yeah, he could. That's great. I said, but one thing nobody could do for him is make him grow to be 6'5" and go up and high point every ball he needs to. If you look at his huddle tape, every catch is like, he's not getting a lot of Aaron Rodgers passes thrown to him. A lot of them are catches nobody else could go get except him. And he does go and get them. And so that's something to notice. But I think this year, Alabama, everybody keeps saying, I keep seeing this on message boards. Well, Auburn, Alabama wasn't going to let Auburn dominate for 2 years in a row. I don't think that's what it was. I just think that Alabama didn't prioritize some guys Auburn did last year. And I'm not saying they were right or wrong. I'm just saying they had other guys nationally they may have ranked higher or may have thought they had a better chance with. And now with the revenue share and everything else, you talk about somebody like Zay Hall. You're like, why would Alabama reach down there when they're recruiting so well? Well, because, see, again, and this is to my point and why I think Cohen and Freeze are missing the boat, that, Zay Hall to me is a value pick. He is somebody that, a good NFL team is built with your third, fourth, fifth, and sixth round picks. Yes, you got to have a great quarterback. We all know that. So that's why you go out and spend money for a Keelan Russell. This year, Alabama's not going to do that. They're not even chasing Landon Duckworth. They've gone out and gotten Jet Tamala, and they're probably going to get this kid from Hawaii originally who's now in Utah playing. And they're going to get two guys who are value picks. They're going to cost a little bit of money, but they're not going to cost the money that, say, a Landon Duckworth would command, because that would sort of blow your budget. It doesn't make sense to do that anymore. And Zay Hall is one of those linebackers where he's really good. He's a very solid player. But do I expect him to come in and be a star? Would Nick Saban have recruited him had there been no salary cap like there is now, essentially, quote unquote? No. But you've got to go find guys like that too that can fit into your budget, that you go, okay, I'm not paying you $400,000 or $300,000 or $200,000. I'm going to give you $25,000 a year. And if you can work your way up the ladder if you start doing better or something like that. So I think Alabama, that's what I'm impressed with as much as anything. I feel like if Zay Hall is one of your least rated dudes, he looks like a pretty doggone good player. And for my money, if you go out there and take a guy who plays in the state of Alabama at a place that, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, they play some dudes. That's a tough place to play. And if he's one of your guys, you're going like, I'm going to take a value flyer on him. I can live with that. The problem would be, it's like Jabari Barnett, the guy that Alabama has committed at running back. A lot of people are like, well, we stole him from Illinois. I said, first of all, who's the head coach at Illinois? Bielema. What does he know? Running backs. So I'm okay with getting him. But if he were my number one guy, I'd be like, I don't know if I love this. But guess what? Xavier Crowell is your number one guy. Some people think he's the best running back in the country. So when you get him and you couple him with this other guy, all of a sudden your running back class is awesome. So and same thing with wide receivers. If Sedarian Morgan weren't on this receiver commitment list and it were just Brian Williams Jr. out of Orlando and it were just Owen Cabell out of Tennessee, two, moderate 3-star players who have a lot of great measurables, both 6'3" to 6'4", kind of slender, both pretty fast, you would say, I don't know if I love this receiver class. But if you put them with Sedarian Morgan, who's also 6'4", 6'5", 220, you go, okay, I like this class a lot now. So it's your top end is what you really want to see, and that's but the bottom end guys, they look better when your top end guys are really good too.
Let me say this about the top 10 in the state this year. Alabama's got Sedarian, who is number one, and then Tank Jones is undecided. And I would say probably leaning toward Alabama right now. We'll see. But if Alabama were to get those two, obviously you get the top two players in state. That's great. But then Landon Duckworth's not staying in state. Rodney Cleveland's gone. Jaquez Wilkes is the next one that's uncommitted, and Auburn feels good about him at 6, but you don't know. Xavier Crowell's going to Alabama. Then Hezekiah Harris committed to Auburn. Emmanuel Ruffin uncommitted. Then you got Marquez Daniel going to Florida, Kean Chapman, North Carolina, Dylan Purter, LSU, J.J. Bush, Arkansas, Shadarius Tootle, Georgia. I mean, this is not these other schools are coming into this state, and they're pulling players out. And then you go down to Corey Barber, who we all know, Randy, very well. We watched him last year. He's committed to Ole Miss. I mean, you can just keep on going down the list. And so there's only a couple of guys really left available, 3, maybe 4 left in the top 10, top 11 that are left to commit. And Auburn maybe could get 1 or 2, possibly. Alabama could get possibly 2 more. But that would give Alabama 4 in the top 10, and Auburn could possibly end up with 2 or 3. But it's, again, you want the higher end. If you can get out like Alabama this year, get the number 1 and 2 guy, and then get another one, you're like, okay, I got the ones I wanted. And then it only leaves what's left. So, I mean, more teams are coming into this state and grabbing players.
Well, I look at Corey Barber, to me, is a guy that if Alabama had decided, I think Ole Miss prioritized him more than Alabama, which I respect, and I'm like, hey, I love him too. If you had told me Alabama gets Corey Barber instead of one of the other 2 guys that I mentioned that aren't Sedarian Morgan, I'm on board. I love Corey Barber. If you had told me the same thing with Kean Chapman, but here's where my bet is, and again, this is what's sort of impossible to know. I'm betting North Carolina is willing to spend more on Kean Chapman than Alabama is. I'm betting Ole Miss is willing to spend more on Corey Barber than Alabama is. So what Alabama has to do is say, okay, we need to go find a dude like him who's close to what he is,
all right,
at a better value. And I think that's what they've done, because if you put Kean Chapman, Owen Cabell, Brian Williams Jr., and Corey Barber in a bag and pull out 2 of them, I think you're as satisfied. Yeah, I think you could do any 2 of them and you're happy. Sedarian Morgan's a different animal. We all know that. Tristan Keys is a different animal. So I think that some schools are going to prioritize, and that's where, I thought that, hey, some of these schools have an opportunity to come in here and let some of the Alabama kids make some serious money, meaning the state of Alabama kids. And I pulled up 24/7 because I know that's what you like, but there are 3 undecided dudes there. And you left out Zion Gibson, who's number 5. So there are only 3 undecided. One of them is Emmanuel Ruffin, who I haven't really heard associated much with Bama or Auburn.
He's moved up quite a bit here recently.
I haven't heard him associated with Alabama or Auburn, which seems a little odd to me. And then there's Jaquez Wilkes. I've certainly Auburn's right up the road, but there is a lot of Texas A&M buzz around him, just like there's some A&M buzz around Tank Jones. And that's the one thing you don't ever want to do, get in a bidding war with one of them Texas schools.
I will tell both of y'all this, and I told Randy this. When we went to St. Paul's, I had a guy tell me that Texas A&M has been living down there. I mean, they have placed a lot of priority, so don't think just naturally he would choose Alabama. I don't think you can do that anymore. Even if it were Auburn in the mix, I don't think you'd say, oh, well, it's just going to go and stay. Texas A&M, if they want you and they want to come in and throw enough at you, they can – They can definitely pull you. All right, let's go to break, guys.
I will say this, though, real quick. Isaiah Crowell, you and I felt like Texas being in that Final Three may be a reason for,
You said Isaiah. That's the one that went to Georgia, pulled the puppy out years ago. Yeah.
My bad. EJ. But he not picking Texas and picking Alabama was maybe I was a little surprised by it. I thought that with Texas being in that Final Three probably was a good reason to think that he was going to end up there. But I was wrong, and so Alabama hopes the same with Tank Jones.
Texas thought they had him.
Yeah, we were told when I went to Jackson, I had somebody down there say, look, I think he may shock some people tomorrow. Because we went the day before his commitment, and I'm like, he said, well, what shirt did he have on? I'm like, okay. And so I told Randy, I'm like, don't be surprised, here. And then, of course, he did go to Alabama. But I told EJ to his face, I said, I already know where you're going. He's like, no, you don't. I was like, you want to put $100 on it? He's like, no, never mind. I said, yeah, exactly. I said, I know where you're going. So, all right, up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill, Sunshine Heating and Air. Randy, it's almost like Alan Green telling Bruce Pearl, Bruce Pearl said, "You're not going to tell me what to do on this." And how much damage would have been done if Bruce Pearl would have just got in lockstep with him? Probably wouldn't be at Auburn right now. And the whole basketball thing wouldn't be where it is right now. And you've alluded to this too, like we've sat people in the past, like for no freaking reason at all. Like, why did we do that? Like, dare them to come get you. Like, I think in this day and age now of people saying, no, man, everybody else over here, I ain't falling on the sword for everybody. You're going to have to prove, and I'm not going to step down from what I'm doing. You're going to have to come in and prove that I'm doing things differently than everybody else. I just think, man, you're just going down a real tedious path right here when you decide to step out on your own.
Well, a couple of thoughts. One, we do a lot of high school talk here, and it feels the same there right now. You got kids that are transient, that are moving all over the place, and there's reasons that they're going from one program to the other, and we'd all love for it to be the same way that it was back in the mid-'90s, where we grew up in a community and we lived there for 17 or 18 years, and you got who you got, and you built them up from first grade on, and you watched them with the same coaching staff. But look, I mean, those days are long gone, and the ones that are winning championships have move-ins every year. And why are they moving into their community? Well, one, because they got a great coach that builds a great culture and a great program. And people in today's society find programs, schools that they can look at and say that this is where I want my kid, this is who I want him around. So there's one thought. Another is a comment my dad made when Auburn let Cliff Ellis go. I'll never forget the phone call. He said, I'd love to know what is going through the Auburn administration's mind to get rid of a coach that is just playing the game the same way that everybody else is playing it. We were finally trying to get to the level with Auburn basketball, if you remember, Brett, with Cliff Ellis, and it would be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. It was not near the peaks consistently that we're seeing under Bruce Pearl, but it was getting there. It was getting to where Auburn that year that somehow we let Cliff Ellis go, that was a great, great group of players coming back.
Lewis Monroe and Marco Killingsworth and
Douglas, and just keep going down the list.
Yeah, they all moved on to be great players other places.
Brandon Robinson, that was going to be a very good team. But Auburn being, I'm not saying that I hate that Auburn is this way from time to time, but we were going to be the ones that do it right. We weren't going to dare let Auburn do something that every other blue blood was doing. Yeah. Which was my biggest complaint when all of that went down with the Bruce Pearl a few years ago, where we go through a whole football season where we don't even see Bruce Pearl one time on the Jumbotron. It's the craziest thing to think back to, but that's how ridiculous the NCAA and all of this is. So let me finish one, and then I'll get y'all's thoughts, but I am so behind what Luke said earlier. If there is one person on campus that I'm asking his opinion on this and how to play this and it's not our athletic director. I like him, and put a mic in front of him and let him talk. I think a lot of him. I thought a lot of him when he was at Mississippi State coaching them in baseball. I'm glad that we've got him. I think he's a great person, but I'm not asking his opinion. We've got Bruce Pearl on staff at Auburn University that I'm 110% confident is going to play that basketball, NIL and transfer portal as well as you can play it, and going to put us in a great position year in and year out. And I'm hard pressed to think that Auburn's basketball program's doing the same thing that our football program is right now. Do you think that, Brett? And then we'll get to Luke. But do you honestly think that the basketball program's not right there on the cutting edge?
No, they're right there. They've proven that. Again, and Luke, I'll defer to you on this, and Randy, I'll get y'all's thoughts on this. Again, can we please quit interpreting things? Get a definitive answer and go, okay, this is what – it's not hard to go ask somebody if we want a $400,000 deal and somebody from outside wants to give them $400,000, does that count toward our cap or not? That should be a simple yes or no answer. It shouldn't be any ambiguity there. And then I thought the question or the comment from Travis earlier was maybe one of the best questions that we've all had. What's the point of having a salary cap? You can just go out and add whatever you want to on the side. I mean, then there really is no salary cap at that point. So can we just get some damn clarification from somebody? I think that would just help, maybe help Auburn's guys more than it helps anybody, because obviously they're looking at it this way and everybody else is over here looking at it this way. Somebody's wrong.
I think the clarification is more for us than it is for anybody else. Again, this is where I think Auburn is playing it so improperly that I think the ambiguity is great for most schools because they have plausible deniability. They can say, hey, this is the way, look, read this thing again and then tell me what you think. And they go, well, I guess I could see it that way. So I can't really punish you because I can see where you were coming from. If you call them and ask them, last night I'm at the beach and I'm watching my.
Let me go to break and then you keep going. I've got to get to break for TV. Stay tuned, everybody. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We're located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. And for any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
This spring and summer, make your land, farming, lawn, and landscaping needs have zero risk and 100% success with Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. With 0% financing on all our Mahindra tractors, many with up to 84-month terms. Our inventory of Mahindra tractors and farm implements is beefed up, and more are coming in daily. We also have extended 0% terms on Spartan mowers to handle your mowing needs with the best and zero-turn mowers priced to move. At Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, your authorized Mahindra and Spartan dealer.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Can't say enough about our two partners here. Been with us for a long time, been doing this show over 20 years. We greatly appreciate them very, very much. But kind of going back, Randy, and I'll start with you. We were talking about this off the TV side. You know, you really are. I said this walking out. I said Auburn's really gambling that they're making the right call on this thing. And if you gamble and you lose, you set yourself way behind, like way behind to try to catch up. And we've talked the thing to death about winning football games. We all know that. There's nothing Auburn can do right now in the present to clear its perception up. When you're 84th, Auburn moved up to 84th with the addition of the tight end they got yesterday. But the bottom line is you cannot – there's no way to spin it. There's no way to spin it that you got 7 commitments and you're 84th in recruiting, you're dead last in SEC. There's just nothing you can say about it.
No, there's not. And but when you're in this boat and you do need to spin it, you know, there are a couple of positives that you can lean into that I think Lane Kiffin's done a better job than Auburn has over the last 5 to 7 years. And that's if you're not going to finish in the top in high school recruiting, you've got to go out there and pick up some transfers that can make a major splash. So Auburn's going to have cash. I mean, there should be plenty of cash sitting on the sideline because I'm with Luke. I mean, if you can figure out how to get in the top 10 class with where you're standing right now, I don't see it. But Auburn, Brett, you started the program today before Luke got on, and you said Auburn's got a chance to have 3 or 4 first-round picks on this current roster, and we haven't been there. We haven't had guys going to the NFL consistently. Even the ones that have been big recruits, we haven't developed them to the level that they are able to go to the NFL as a top pick. But right now, we've got but the 2 of the top 3 that I think you mentioned are both transfers.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'd love y'all's opinion on this, but I've given this example the last week. You know, let's take 2 receivers that Auburn have that we've got on this roster. And I don't know the numbers, but I think we can speculate pretty closely with Eric Singleton on what we had to spend to get him. It was a big number. But what is your percentage for success this year that you have on Eric Singleton this year, Brett? I'll start with you.
95%.
How about you, Luke?
I'd say, you know, I feel like he's going to be successful. You know, I don't know about a percentage, but I'd say I think he's a guy that he will be proven successful.
He will live up to billing.
It will be money well spent is where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Whereas Auburn got one of the top recruits a couple of years ago in Perry Thompson. And if I go to both of you, and I don't know the number that's been given for both of these guys, but I'm going to speculate. Let's just say that from a high school standpoint, he was one of our top money getters a couple of years ago. I think any of us would agree with that. What's your percentage that Perry Thompson's going to have a massive year this year, Brett?
I mean, it'd be less than 50% because you got, I mean, you know who your 3 starters are going to be right out of the gates. He's going to have to work his way into the lineup somewhere. And then you got Horatio Fields that came in, and you've got Sam Turner that's been kicking tail in the spring, and they're expecting him to get playing time. So there's just not a spot. You know, you got to, you know, they even talked about moving Perry Thompson maybe to tight end to try to get him on the field with those guys and create some mismatch things. So it's a lot less than Eric Singleton.
So, and Luke, I think you would agree with Brett on that. So my point is you've got to play both ends. And I have been wholeheartedly behind Hugh Freeze's because I'm a high school guy. I want to see the kids in the state get opportunities, and I want to see them be at Auburn. So I'm all behind that. But if that doesn't work out for you, you've got to make that other work out exceptionally well. Like, you must be one of the top transfer portal destinations, and you've got to spend massive money to make sure that if there's an Eric Singleton out there, or if there is a Mateer that's at Oklahoma, look, we'd love to think Jackson Arnold's the next coming, but Oklahoma let him go to get another one. So, and I think, Brett, you said it right at the top of the transfer portal. If you had to go pick one that was in the transfer, it was Mateer.
Yep.
And you said it a couple of years ago, and you pleaded a few years ago for Cam Ward, but Auburn doesn't go get Cam Ward.
Right.
Well, to be able to go get those 2 guys, let's just use them for example, you got to have big money sitting on the back end. So I'm not saying that I like that Auburn's sitting at 84th. I am not spinning it in that direction. But the way that I am spinning it is you're going to have to spend light money. Like, Auburn can't come in and say, okay, well, we didn't spend money on this high school, but we're not going to equal up to what Alabama's spending. You can't do that. Now, you've just got to equal it out by going and getting guys like we do in basketball. Like, I no longer in basketball, and I know that y'all don't either. I mean, look at Alabama and Auburn's roster the last 4 years in basketball. Hell, there have been nothing but transfers in that have made the biggest splash for both programs. Alabama go with Brandon Miller. I was hoping and praying they'd go to hell in a handbasket the next year, and they were just as good, if not better, the next year.
Well, they were better. They went to the Final Four the next year.
I know they were, and there's no part of me that thinks Alabama's not going to put a Final Four type roster out there this year, or Auburn. But it's in the transfer portal, and you got to spend massive money on the Keyshawn Halls of the world to get them to come to your program over Alabama. So my point is, I think if the philosophy is going in that direction, then I can get behind it, and we'll see if that works out.
Hey, I saw something real quick, guys, a projection of the best basketball programs over the next 10 years, and I'll try to pull it up, but it had Auburn and Alabama in the top 10.
It's amazing.
The best and you look down, how do you argue with that?
You don't.
You look at what both of these programs have done over the last 5 to 6 years, and Kentucky can say what it wants to, and I didn't.
Not at Auburn and Alabama's level.
I never thought we would have seen the day where we consider Auburn and Alabama basketball better than Kentucky. And it's just where it is right now. So let's get to break. We'll keep this discussion going. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Illinois Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillby Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillby Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dadeville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. '25 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left in the show today, and we appreciate all of you out there joining us and all your comments that are coming in. Go.
Well, I asked Brett this, and Luke, I don't think you and I have hobbies up to this level, but we would both agree that if Brett Pritchard had a choice to make today, he might sit on this camera and talk, would be second, but he would wake up every morning and go fishing. Not some mornings, like 365 days out of the year, he would wake up and he would go fishing. And the idea that he doesn't means that he sets some priorities to say, it's probably not a good idea that I wake up on a Tuesday and instead of trying to grow my business when I'm in the peak of my career, I'm going to go fishing. But am I wrong, Brett? You'd go fishing every day, wouldn't you?
I would. If I had the opportunity, if Lord willing, and I had the money and it was all set, I'd absolutely be on that boat.
Well, I think that's the reason that I hate, trying to knock somebody that's got a hobby that they love, because I get it. And trust me, there's a lot of people out there that get the bug with golf, and I've got friends of mine and family members. They'd play every morning and every day if they could. Luke, you got a family member that would do the same. But unfortunately, he's got to go put fountains up and live in Washington, D.C. 90% of his life. I talked to him this week about it. And but y'all get where I'm coming from. I think that there is credence to question whenever you get down at the level that Auburn's sitting in recruiting. You're going to have darts thrown unless things turn around quickly.
I mean, there's no spin on earth. The most ardent Auburn fan can't spin to me that Auburn, for any reason ever, should be number 78 in recruiting. If everybody only had one commitment, Auburn shouldn't be 78th. I mean, look, I dislike Auburn as much as anybody, and I still.
Where does your disdain for Auburn come from, Luke?
His mother.
Yeah, my mama.
She's
she
I
graduated.
already knew the answer. I just wanted him to tell everybody.
Mom said her favorite thing to do when we were growing up was after Auburn lost, she'd love to go to that convenience store at 280 and 63, watch Auburn people scrape the AU off the side of their face like this before they got back to Birmingham. So, but it's just, there's no excuse. And especially when you have 7 commitments. It'd be one thing, I guess, if you wanted to take a flyer on this Kentrell White kid Auburn just got a commitment from yesterday, who on the surface, if you don't look into it, I mean, he's 6'5", 210, and you go, okay, he's great. But then you realize, like, well, he's 6'5", 210, and nobody really has him ranked as anything. They just put him on the radar, like, because Auburn was looking into it. That's how much clout Auburn has, that they put him on the radar only because Auburn was looking at him. That should, again, tell you, like, this number set. I mean, I just looked on 24/7. I think they're 78. That's mind-bogglingly low.
That's 6 spots higher than what I just saw him at. I saw him at 84. I'm just going to tell you.
Well, they probably gave him 6 spots just since I've been talking, because they're like, he's got a point. And I'm just telling you, it's crazy. And so there is no. I've seen some people try to defend Cohen and Hugh Freeze. By the way, what Cindy Ed Hines said, hey, look, Freeze has to do what Cohen tells him. I think that's a problem, because who is the most important person at any SEC school? The football coach.
It should be the head football coach, but ours is our basketball coach. So I know where you're going with it.
Well, and that is very unique, and it's also not a path for success long term. Huh?
It'd be y'all's too after this season. Kalen DeBorden. We lose 4 games, we may have another conversation.
It won't be, but see, we won't put up with it for long.
Well, I don't think we're going to put up with it after this year either. I mean, I think it's win or go. I mean, I think it's to that point.
Because football, and I love Nate Oates. I think he's awesome. And I know y'all love Bruce Pearl. You think he's awesome. But that ain't where the bones are buried financially. Bruce Pearl does a lot of things outside, so that may account for some other things. He helps Auburn on a PR level that probably accounts for a little more than most average coach. But if you're a financially smart and wise Auburn person, you realize I'd rather have a great football coach than a great basketball coach all day long, no matter what's happening, because I want my team. Because if I have a great basketball coach and I ain't got nothing in football, I got problems. If I have a great football coach and I ain't got nothing in basketball, I can live.
There's a reason those big, massive stadiums sit right in the middle of both campuses. And
so what I'm saying is that Cohen shouldn't have that big of a stick over Freeze. Freeze should be able to go, now hang on there, athletic director Cohen. Let me run this ship. And if it goes down, so be it. You know what I'll do? I'll take all this big buyout and go play a lot more at Wicker Point. But if it gets turned, I think I can turn this around. Hugh Freeze, I did sense now, maybe it's hindsight's 50-50 like Pat Dye said, but I sense now maybe that's kind of where Freeze was going, but I don't think he carries enough big, or at least he feels like he carries a big enough stick to do it yet. Can you imagine Greg Byrne going to an event with Nick Saban and telling him how things are? Nick would be like, "What are you doing?" And I think that's how Freeze should be. Even if you don't like Freeze, you've got to admit he should be the most powerful person in that athletic department.
I mean, he should. I mean, and again, I think to this point, he hasn't proven anything on the field. I do say this, and both of y'all will agree. I don't spin things for Auburn when they're. I'm a realist. Like, to me, you lose credibility when you try to paint a rosy picture when it's not a rosy picture. And you look at the results on the field. Auburn missed 4 or 5 opportunities to have a lot better record last year, and I blame coaching for several of those games. You can say, well, Peyton Thorne threw a pick, and we missed a field goal and had bad luck with Alex McPherson. We had all that, but you had Missouri beat. You had Oklahoma beat. You don't give those games away. I mean, Auburn literally should have won at least 3 more games last year. Auburn was in every single game last year. Auburn never got blown out. But they made some bad decisions at bad times, and they did have some games where Peyton Thorne threw 4 or 5 picks and all this stuff, and they ended up losing by 7 or 10. But bottom line is Auburn was better than their record showed. And a lot of times when that happens, you go back, well, why did you decide to throw the ball 3 times when you were up 21-10 in the fourth quarter and have 3 incompletions that stopped the clock? Then you missed a field goal. Then they turn around and throw a bomb, and now it's a 4-point game. I mean, that's the stupidity that makes you just go crazy. It's almost like you're waiting on something bad to happen. Auburn's got to snap out of that, and they got to win some damn games, period. I know people get sick of hearing me say that. I'm going to say it from now till the start of the season. But that is really where the rubber hits the road for Auburn.
I see Justin Clayton says Florida shouldn't be in the 60s this time of year either. Number one, I would say if I'm an Auburn fan, I'd be like, I don't give a rip what Florida's doing. And number 2, Florida's number 16 in recruiting, if that's what he's referring to, right? On 24/7 at least.
Let me get the break here. It's the last break of the show. Stay tuned, everybody. One final segment coming up right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Russell Medical Total Fitness is ready. Are you? Do you have arthritis? They can help. Pilates are for everyone. Ask them about the Silver Sneakers program. Get moving in a class now, or if you prefer, personal training on land and water are available. They have invested in new equipment for you. Invest in yourself with a dedicated and knowledgeable staff. Call today, 256-329-7623.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Zaxby's birthday cake milkshakes are back.
Just in time for Zaxby's 35th birthday, so they're gifting you half-off handcrafted milkshakes.
Happy birthday to us all.
Zaxby's handcrafted milkshakes.
Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Final segment here on the program. I'll just say this about that. I think, again, there's so much ambiguity still out there on all this. It's too early to try to fight that battle. I think they're waiting to see how this money stuff plays out. And then I think there's going to be one that's waiting there to pounce and go, all right, y'all giving the lion's share to all these men's sports. Are y'all ignoring this federal mandate that's been enacted since the 1970s? Y'all just throw that in the trash? What are we going to do? And then you'll see it go up the ranks to the Supreme Court. And then when the Supreme Court rules, and I think we all know the Supreme Court will probably rule in favor of women.
They will, yes.
So now you got a whole nother animal. So, Randy, I think you've been talking about it a lot.
No, I think you're right. That's the first time I've heard any. I think that makes more sense.
No, let me push back a minute. If that's the case, then the WNBA, which is owned by the NBA, why aren't they paying Caitlin Clark the same that LeBron James is getting paid? And the reason is they don't generate as much income.
They're not getting federal money.
It's a private organization.
Yes, okay, I hear you on that, but I think the same premise would apply in terms of if the whole idea is equality, then I think that the same premise would hold true. And I think that's, again, if I were a college football coach, I'd go, guys, yeah, when we were getting the federal money, and we are still getting federal money, but see, back then it was all under the guise of amateurism, so we could sort of equal it out. Well, now it's a business, and we all know it's a business. We're not hiding it anymore. So
you got to deem it that way.
Yeah.
You've got to change all the legislation. You've got to change the structure. You've got to change all of that for it not to receive federal money that goes into facilities.
Well, they don't ever want to give up the federal money.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the reason I think it's the biggest winner sitting out there. Now, I think what Brett just said makes a ton of sense. Now I get it. Because they're just going to sit back and let this play out and let all of the money go to the men's sports. And then they're going to come in the 23rd hour and they're going to say, I tell you what, here's a big lawsuit, and it's not $1 million lawsuit. Here's $1 billion lawsuit.
You don't think there's somebody out there not working on that already?
Oh, you're on it because it makes too much sense. I do not. It doesn't make sense for Riley Gaines and others to pound the war chest of what's going on with transgender athletes and stuff. And anybody with a brain at all, I think, is behind that. But the easiest sell is Are we going to let all these women's sports go away? Are we not going to fund them up to equal level? Are we going to sit back just because football's the breadwinner and
football's going to have to split? Football's going to have to split away from the universities. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean,
I do like Justin's quote. This is so. I'm not going to go there, and then Randy proceeds to go there. I love that.
We all baited him into it.
It's like when you say, I'm not trying to be critical. Oh, you about to criticize the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, you just prefacing that you about to go off is what you're saying. That's all you're doing. But before we close out for TV, and we'll stay up for a couple minutes just to kind of wrap things up. But I think that's a good point, though, that it's not going to be allowed to sit over here and just go away. So I think what we all have been saying for 5 years is inevitable, that football is going to be its own separate entity. Now the question will be, what does that logo mean on the side of the helmet? And how does the universities handle renting the stadium to the program and all the facilities? Because if they're separating themselves, then there's got to be some – man, it is so daggum convoluted, man. And how this thing, we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg on the complexity of all this stuff. We really hadn't.
And look, there is part of me, if we didn't have this show, that we've all been a part of 2 decades, and a podcast and other writings and other things, part of me would go, hey, y'all just wake me up when y'all figured all this out so that I can enjoy it again. But because we have all these things, I'm kind of worried at the same time, because now all these things have turned into avenues for money for us.
If they do that, Luke, I could go fishing.
Yeah, you could go fishing. And I'm like, hey, y'all aren't just screwing up sports. Y'all are screwing up sports journalism. Y'all are screwing up podcasting. Y'all are screwing up writing, journal, everything. It sucks. I mean, can somebody get in there and just, again, make it where I think anybody with sense, like you said, Brett, would understand. Okay, federal funds or not, women's sports don't even drop in the bucket in terms of financially of what what football is. But now we also we value women and we value their sports. We understand that having a sports and having this outlet, having this avenue is crucial for a lot of people to build on their lives and make themselves more successful.
Let me get us out for TV, Luke. Pause yourself right there. That's going to wrap us up for TV. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week for another edition of the Saturday Sports Countdown.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state, and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote. Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.